Have you ever realized the person you trust most has been protecting you from a secret that would destroy you? My dad is 71 years old, and he hasn't missed a single Sunday dinner at my house in 12 years. Rain, snow, flu, broken ankle, doesn't matter. 6 p.m. sharp, every Sunday, he's at my door holding a grocery bag. Always the same thing inside. A loaf of sourdough from the bakery on Elm Street, and a small jar of strawberry jam. My wife thinks it's sweet. My kids call it Grandpa's bread day. I never thought twice about it. It was just dad being dad. 3 weeks ago, my father had a minor stroke and ended up in the hospital for 4 days. That Sunday, for the first time in over a decade, he wasn't going to make it to dinner. So I drove to the bakery on Elm Street to pick up the bread myself, just to keep the tradition alive for my kids. I walked in, and the woman behind the counter froze when she saw me. She actually put her hand over her mouth. "Oh my God," she whispered. "You look exactly like him." I smiled and said, "Yeah, everyone says I look like my dad." She shook her head slowly. "Not your dad, sweetheart. Your brother." I laughed. I told her I was an only child. Her face went pale. She walked into the back room without a word, and came out 2 minutes later, holding a thick manila envelope with my father's handwriting on the front. It said, "If he ever comes in alone, give him this." My hands started shaking before I even opened it. Inside were 47 photographs. A boy growing up year by year. First day of kindergarten, lost tooth, little league, high school graduation, wedding day, holding a baby. The boy looked exactly like me, except his eyes were green and mine are brown. There was a letter folded underneath in my father's careful handwriting. "Son, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone, or I couldn't make it on Sunday. His name is Daniel. He is your older brother. He was born when I was 19 years old to a woman I loved before I met your mother. Her family forced her to give him up and move across the country. I didn't find him until you were already 8 years old. By then, your mother was sick, and I knew the truth would break her, so I made a choice. Every Sunday for 12 years, I have driven 90 minutes to have lunch with Daniel and his family before I drive to your house for dinner. The bread and jam are from his bakery. He owns it. He named his daughter after your mother. He has been waiting his whole life to meet you. I am so sorry I was too much of a coward to introduce you while I had the strength. His number is on the back of the envelope. He already knows everything about you. He has watched every video your wife ever posted. He cried when your son was born. Please call him. Please. Love, Dad." I looked up. The woman behind the counter was crying. "I'm Daniel's wife," she said softly. "He's in the back office right now. He's been hoping for this day for 22 years. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I just stood there in a bakery on Elm Street holding 47 photographs of a brother I never knew existed. Then a man walked out from the back. Same jaw as my father. Same nose as me. Green eyes. He was holding a small jar of strawberry jam in his hands, and his whole body was trembling. "I made you one too," he said, and his voice cracked in half. "Every Sunday, for 12 years, just in case." I dropped the envelope on the counter, and I hugged my brother for the first time in my entire life. We stood there in the middle of his bakery, and we cried like two grown men who had lost something they never knew was missing. When I finally got home that night, I called my dad in the hospital. I told him I went to the bakery. There was a long silence on the phone. Then my 71-year-old father, the strongest man I have ever known, whispered, "Are you angry with me, son?" I said, "No, Dad, I'm not angry. I'm just sad you carried this alone for so long." Daniel comes to Sunday dinner now. So does his wife and his daughter. My dad sits at the head of the table between his two sons. Last week, for the first time in my entire life, I watched my father cry at the dinner table. He looked at both of us and he said, "I waited my whole life to see you in the same room. The bread is still from Elm Street. The jam is still strawberry. But now there are 2 loaves on the table." This story shows that the people who love us most often carry the heaviest secrets in the quietest way, not to deceive us, but to protect us until we're strong enough to know. For 12 years, a father drove 90 minutes every Sunday just to hold 2 halves of his heart together without breaking either one. That's not cowardice. That's love wearing the disguise of routine. And it makes you wonder, how many ordinary rituals in our own families are actually invisible acts of devotion we'll only understand when it's almost too late.